Welcome to Dagger 101. This isn't just a weapon, it's a gamble, a curse, and a love letter to chaos. You're made of glass, but you cut like poetry. One wrong step and you're a corpse. One clean hit and they're gone before the body hits the floor. Welcome to Melee 101. This is episode 2, Dagger 101, the ultimate glass cannon. Hello everybody, welcome in. My name is CueZeRiot, previously known as Riot to Diamond. Real quick, I just want to give a huge thanks. The Riot Shield 101 guide I posted a couple days ago has absolutely blown up. The next milestone that I'm really working for this channel is trying to hit YouTube partnership. It would really help me out in my content creation journey. So I appreciate all the support. You guys are insane. And we're going to be beginning a whole series, Melee 101. So without further ado, let's get into it. Starting with this video, I'll be bringing in a special guest for each and every episode of Melee 101. Fellow maniacs from Melee Brigade, stab-happy enthusiasts, and blunt force philosophers. These players have all hit diamond with their weapon of choice. They put in the hours and the pain to know what they're talking about, and they're here to share the good, the goofy, and the actual cracked side of melee weapons. If you want to be in the Melee Brigade or potentially even a future video, make sure you join the links down below. Hop in the server. We still have slots in the in-game club. The only requirement is you have to have a melee weapon above level 6, but all are welcome. As with all these Melee 101 videos, the first thing that we're going to go over is damage values. I think it's one of the most important things for us to cover with any weapon. You got to get the basis first before you can learn more about it. So let's get into it. First off, you have your left click, which is going to be a slash. These are your fastest attacks. They do 60 damage per hit. Next, you have your charge attack. The charge attack is designed to be hit in the back. When you do not hit a critical strike, it only does 75 damage. It's also important to note that, as you just saw, when I hit the lunge, if I'm close enough, it actually pulls me forwards to the target. So this is something that's important to remember. Now, the most important strike that you need to perfect and learn is the backstab. A backstab does 320 damage when you land it correctly. It means that you're going to instant kill a light and a medium, and with a heavy, it leaves them in a place where all you have to do is elbow them. For lights, you have two options. Obviously, you can just backstab them. Now, if you miss your backstab, you're going to do 75 damage. You can follow this up with a left click, which does 60 damage. And as we've gone over in other videos, quick melee does 40. This will do a total of 175, which finishes off a light. Next, we have medium. Obviously, you can finish them with a backstab. In my opinion, I try to personally always link a quick melee in with my backstab. So I'll do backstab, quick melee. It cuts off the back half of the animation if you're doing gadget swap canceling. It's very useful tech to learn. So if you're doing that, this is option 1 for a missed backstab. You've got your stab, you've got an elbow for 40, that's 115, and then you can go slash, slash, elbow, which is fast if you're doing gadget swapping. If you're not doing gadget swapping, I would probably recommend just go for a missed backstab and 3 slashes. That'll finish a medium. Heavies are the only enemy you can't single tap with a dagger, which is why I was saying it's a good thing to habitually go for a quick melee after your backstab to just get in the habit of doing it. For a backstab on a heavy, you need to go backstab and quick melee right afterwards. This does a total of 360 damage, instant kills the heavy. Now with the heavies, there's not really any good easy answer to killing them if you miss your backstab. So if you miss your backstab and get the elbow, I'd still probably recommend running away, but you are left in a place where you can slash them 4 times to get the kill. The most important thing you need to learn with Dagger is placement. You need to learn how to get yourself behind the enemy. There's a couple ways that you can do this. The most common and the easiest way to do this is with dash, and you're going to need to learn a tactic that people refer to as a 180 backstab. All you have to do is charge your dagger, dash to one side of the enemy. I personally recommend dashing to the left side. It leaves you more visible and your hand is not covering the enemy. You're going to dash, turn, make sure you aim for the center of their back. Now, it's important that you end up behind the player model, because if you hit the player in the shoulder, it's not going to do the backstab damage. So you need to make sure you're actually behind the player to activate the full critical damage. This can also be performed with grapple from a farther range, but it's a little bit more tricky and not quite necessarily as effective. But it allows you to pull off crazy maneuvers like this. Another slight important thing that I would recommend that you learn is everything has a back. You can backstab everything. So for instance, if you throw down a goo wall, you can backstab your own goo wall to get rid of it instantly. This also works on enemy goo walls. You just have to figure out what direction they threw it from. It will always be the side facing the person who threw it that you need to stab to backstab a goo wall. One of the things that you need to perfect as a Dagger player is the art of using doorways to your advantage. You can really just be just a ratty bastard and just hide behind a doorway, wait for somebody to come through that's going to force push you, and you just get a free backstab almost every time. The likelihood that they're going to expect you to be standing right behind the doorway like that is so low. You get a lot of free kills that way. It's just too good. It's just too good. Now that we've gone over the basics of damage values and hit combos, it's time for us to get on to the meat of the video and bring in our first guest for the Melee 101 series. Let's get into it. This is Nomu. He's the resident Dagger gremlin of Melee Brigade. He's been around in Melee Brigade for a while at this point. He's got a lot more time on Dagger than me and is a lot more of a Dagger sweat than I am. I've got my own skills with it, but he's going to kind of go over the rundown of his opinion on how to play Dagger, and then I will fill in anywhere that I feel like he's missed anything or play styles he doesn't touch as much. So Nomu, feel free, take it away.
Hey, I'm Nomu. I'm the Dagger gremlin of the Melee Brigade server and clan, and I'm here to help Riot make his Dagger 101 video. I have just about over 1,000 hours on Dagger. I've reached Diamond multiple times using the Dagger, and I also do YouTube. Riot is gonna post a link at the bottom that showed my YouTube channel. I mostly do montage videos. I never do any educational videos, so this will be a first for me. So I think the first thing we got to start with the Dagger is the gadgets, and what are the best things to run for it. I'd say the starting loadout for every Dagger player, if they really want to take this weapon the farthest, would be Dash, Goo Grenade, Vanish Bomb, and Gateway. I feel like all those are a must on Dagger, and recently Embark has released a rework for the stun gun and named it the Nullifier, and that gadget actually works so well that it can replace the Invis Bomb, so definitely keep it in your reserve or just replace it outright.
All right, so up next, we're going to talk about movement. We're going to give Dash its own section. Obviously, movement is very important with melee weapons, but Dagger is very specific since you actually need to be right behind the enemy to get your maximum damage. Nomu, take it away.
So I want to start with what Dagger's strong against, and it's definitely got to be medium and heavy comms. Your mobility far excels theirs, and it won't be a problem going for a backstab or a dash stab on mediums and heavy since you catch up to them way easily. As you said, the 320 backstab, that is like the whole thing about Dagger is backstabs. And Invis, you know, the stealth part of Dagger, Invis is cool, but to make a weapon viable, you need to be able to do something to your opponent if they are looking directly at you. Grapple, you can only like go for like one chance where you like go behind someone and go for that stab, and even then grapple is way slower than dash. Dash definitely is a must-have on Dagger if you want to make this weapon as viable as possible. Now I will say the biggest villain is going to be Light. Lights have high TTK weapons like the literally every single light weapon, I believe, will just melt another light. Very hard to play against that with Dagger. But the gadget choices that we have, Goo Grenade, Nullifier, and Gateway, are going to help us sort of lessen the counters against the Dagger. Now, I gotta say, the main thing, like the main problem you're ever going to face with Dagger, and the only time you should ever feel oppressed, is Glitch Mine. There's not really a direct counter to Glitch Mine as a light. You just have to destroy it. But with Dagger, you know, you're a melee weapon, so that's going to put you in an unfavorable position if you have to run and go destroy the mine while they're shooting at you.
As with all melee, understanding the correct placement in the battlefield is something really important. You really need to learn and understand where you need to be placed around your team and what your role on your team is. So that's the next thing we're going to go over. Nomu, take it away.
As Dagger, it's very much a stealth weapon. You don't want to be seen, and you have to, in a team setting, use your teammates as a distraction. I'd say medium is definitely like the go-to if you had to choose, and heavy definitely. Light is going to be way trickier to go after, definitely because of their mobility. It'll be hard to chase. As Dagger, you need Goo Grenade. Goo Grenade is your lifeline. Dagger isn't the most consistent weapon in the world, so having a contingency plan when you miss that backstab is what's going to keep you alive and what's going to keep you from overcommitting or just dying in the first 3 seconds of the fight, leaving your team to 2v3.
Next, we're going to go over team composition. We've talked about where you're supposed to be on the battlefield, what you might want to bring onto the battlefield, but we haven't really talked about your role on the battlefield and what you're supposed to be doing for your team. Nomu, take it away.
The best team comp to run with Dagger would definitely involve not having a light on your team. And if you're in a ranked setting, having another light on your team could spell a bad time. But it's still doable. Everything's doable and everything's possible on the Dagger. As Dagger, having the best mobility in the game, you're going to be in that fight first. And usually you're going to be the one to get the first pick. If you don't get that first pick, that's fine. Your objective should be not to die. You already got a lot of information for your team and you could just run back.
Nomu may be the Melee Brigade's resident dash dagger sweaty gremlin, but that doesn't mean it's the only way you can play the weapon. If you're like me and you like having fun, memeing around, trolling the enemy, or maybe you just want to make the game harder for yourself, there's two other options: Grapple Dagger and Cloak Dagger. Before we get out of here, I want to show you guys a couple tips on how you can make those playstyles a little bit easier. Now, for me personally, I play a lot of Grapple Dagger these days, and my favorite kit to run with that is going to be Breach Charge, Gateway, and Goo. Why I love Breach so much is that you can use it to play for drop. So imagine that the cash out is right above there. Somebody steals. I can drop them down and then immediately go for a backstab on them, or even just be not in the vicinity and still manage to stall the drop. Maybe my teammate has a bounce pad below this. Maybe there's pyro mines or gas mines on point, so my Breach Charge sets off their mines and creates a stall, even if you're not close enough to be able to actually actively stall the enemy team. Now, this next piece of tech is primarily useful if you're running Grapple or Cloak Dagger, but even if you're running Dash, this is going to help you utilize and ration your dashes better. To perform a slide stab, all you have to do, slide past and backstab the enemy. It's relatively forgiving if you remember there is actually a lunge when you release the stab for a charge attack. Now, say you miss your backstab. Hit him in the leg or something like that. What you want to do is just keep doing the slide, but just go for the ankles. It may look cheesy, but butter knife kills are a lot easier than you think. If you're changing your hitbox height like that and sliding all over the place, most people can't track it that well. It's going to piss them off, and it's going to lead to a lot of easy kills. In my opinion, the best way to play this weapon is from on high. You want to find an enemy, stay up high, drop on them, get a kill, and then you want to save your grapple for your escape to get away from the fight. If you use your grapple to get into the fight, you're kind of stuck in there, and you're going to be forced to heavily rely on your goo. And generally speaking, on any of the other kits besides Dash, Goo is even more important because it's your only savior when you're in a sticky situation. We've gone over Goo some, but again, in this situation, Goo is amazing. Not only can you Goo lock enemies as so, but you can also use it for mobility. You can get up weird places with Grapple. It's just absolutely endless. It's so beautiful. It's so good. I highly recommend it. Now, one of the other things you can do with Grapple if you're feeling a little bit aggressive, and it's not always a great idea, and I did just tell you not to enter a fight with Grapple, but you can do just that. You can fling yourself at an enemy, land for a perfect backstab, and it's just beautiful, and it really just hits that serotonin right, you know? Obviously, Gateway is good for just infinite movement, but one of the other strong things about it that you can do that most people don't know about is that momentum travels through gateways. Meaning that you can fling yourself in some really interesting ways if you're running Grapple. You can do this with Dash too, but you don't get quite the same momentum to be able to just really fly and confuse the crap out of enemies. It's beautiful. It's amazing. The other thing you can do is play drop. And so you throw a portal and you just keep dropping on the enemy over and over again. Great method. One of the benefits of Grapple over Dash is that you have generally better distance movement. And so if you are playing Grapple Dagger, your main job is to move the cash box. You want to be the person that gets it. You have the ability to fly way farther. And especially if you link it with bunny hops, you can traverse the map really quick. Now, don't forget, you can also do damage with a cash box. Now, when I'm playing Cloak Dagger, there's two kits that I usually tend to go towards. Kit number one is the same kit as my Grapple Dagger setup, which is Dagger, Breach Charge, Gateway, and Goo. The Goo is amazing. As we talked about, it allows you cover and a bunch of other options. Gateway gives you mobility, and Breach Charge gives you options for stall and ways to create new entrances and angles for attack. The second kit that I really enjoy on Cloak Dagger is going to be Smoke, Gate, and Thermal. This allows you to create a bunch of fun, ratty situations that enemies do not want to push into. It allows you to create your own covers still, and creates a fun and slightly more challenging playstyle if that's what you're looking for. Now, Cloak Dagger gets played a little bit slower. It's not always as exciting, and unfortunately, one of the best methods is sitting on height, same as with the grapple, and you just play like an angry drop spider, you know, and you just drop, you get that backstab, you disappear with Cloak, and you get the hell out of there. If you get stuck in a situation that you can't get out of with Cloak, that's when either your smoke thermal or your goo grenades are going to come in handy. Now, if you're playing smoke thermal, one of the best things you can do is try to stay inside, smoke up areas, stay invis, and wait for a free backstab. People have to push into your smoke, into your invis. You control the situation, and they're out of their element. And with that, I think we've covered the majority of the tips and tricks for Dagger. I'm sure we've missed something. If you think of something, drop in the comments down below. Let me know what you think of the video, and I'll see you next time. And there you have it, Dagger 101. Fast, flashy, and always one step away from disaster. If this video taught you anything, it's that violence is better with style and a dramatic exit. Hit that subscribe button like it owes you rent, ring the bell if you're into chaos, and leave a comment telling me what melee weapon you want a guide for next. Alright, murder the man. Action.
As I said about butter life.
Butter life?
Whatever. Reset. Okay. And I do YouTube. Okay. One more. And
You're good.
We're
Well,
on this one.
Yep, we're going to a different table. Hang on. The second half of the outro is at a different table. Nobody will notice. Nobody will notice.
Are you good, bro? I heard screams.
Nomu might have accidentally backstabbed a table, but don't worry about it. It's fine.
All right. Okay. Okay, straight faced. I'm here. I'm not gonna mess this up for you. All right. Oh, reset. We're back.
Nomu backstabbing a table shows his dagger skill. Accurate as fuck, Ronan. I think that's part of the fun of doing this shit on stream is you guys get to see all the fucking bad takes. I might even leave some bloopers in at the end. I think it's funny, so. Nomu backstabbing the table might have to be in there. All right. Straight face. Ready? And go.